Oh, I know what else I was going to show you. Shh. Okay, I am going to explain why we are doing this and part of why teachers are extremely, hopefully, obsessed with this year. Okay. Um, so we're going to be, this is one of those things where I've done it in the past, and last year, just everything, this was the one thing I let go of last year and I shouldn't have. Okay. So we're going to be doing learning logs. Okay. It's important to your learning. So this is why it's important to your learning. All right. So there's this guy named Hattie. And when you've been in education as long as I have, you've read a lot of the research, okay, about what makes you learn, okay? And so this one gentleman named Hattie, he has studied this a number of times, okay? And he has come up with a list of things. Some of them are some things we do inside in the classroom. Some things are things that happen outside the classroom. He's come up with a list of things that impact your learning. Okay. So anything that is ranked 0.4, okay, will get you a year's worth of growth in learning. Meaning you start 12th grade and you end at an 11th grade level and you end at a 12th grade level. Okay. So that's what it means. So anything down here would get you a year of growth. Okay. If we come up here to the top of the list, something that is like 1.33 is going to get you multiple years of growth, okay, in your learning and your ability to learn, okay? Plus, you all are headed to college in a year, right? And you need to understand what you what you know about something and what you don't, and how to get help when you don't, okay? So this, look at number 2. Number 2 is self-reported grades. That's what a learning log is you keeping track of where you think you are at, okay, and knowing where you are at, okay? The first one is just teachers believing in what they do and doing it together. All the teachers in the math department are doing learning logs. We're all doing this together. We believe it's good for you guys, okay? And we believe that you guys can all learn this, okay? All right, no matter what ability you came into this room, I believe you can do this, okay? All right, so we're going into our learning log here. You'll notice that I divided up here this kind of like table of contents into what's going to be on what quiz. In BC, I tend to group things together a little bit more. We don't have quite as frequent of a quiz schedule as we did in AB, and definitely not as frequent as we did in Trig. Okay. If you click on this, it'll take you to the first slide of the learning log for that section. Okay. So, and the little home button will take you back to that screen. Okay. So I'm going to my 6.9. You'll notice that we had more than one I can statement for 6.9. Okay. Get your notes out for me, guys. Okay, so get your notes out in addition to this. Okay. I'm going to pull my note pages up here in front of me too. Okay. All right. So these go hand in hand, right? Our I can statements are on top of our notes. I'm going to find the top of my notes. We read them all out loud. We discussed what they meant, right? So within this set of notes, we should have examples of what's U substitution, what's integrating inverse trig, what is the change of variable method, and what is the definite integral with U substitution, okay? Going back to my learning log. All right, so all I want you to do, okay, is we're just going to make a check mark, and then we'll talk about the reflection piece, okay? So all we're going to do is go through the 4 things, the 4 I can statements, and make a check mark. There is some vocabulary over here to help you with things, but you're going to rate yourself on where you are. These are the 4 levels that I would rate you on a quiz, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, you do nothing at all, right? So you can do this with lots of help as a 1, okay? I can do most of this, but I have some questions. I can do this by myself. I can do this well enough to teach it. Well enough to teach it does not mean Mrs. Ballard's putting you in front of the classroom and you're teaching the lesson. Okay, that means I can help my table partner and answer their questions. Okay, all right. It doesn't mean you have to. It just means you have the ability to. Okay, all right. So looking at U substitution. All right, so that was really this first basic part here. Do you understand how to do this U substitution? So that was the first part of the notes, right? Example 1, example 2, example 3, right in there, probably all the way till we hit that trig part. So all the way through example 6 was really good, like solid U substitution, okay? I want you to rate yourself. And I don't expect to always see 3s and 4s, okay? Sometimes as we're learning this, we're still down here in 1 and 2, and that's okay. What I need you to be is honest with yourself about where you were at. Okay? So honest with yourself on where you were at. So everybody just pick 1 through 4, move that check mark. I'll give you like 10 seconds. You're going to literally pick up the check mark and move it to where you think it should be. Okay? Okay. Now let's talk about the reflection for that particular one, okay? So I can integrate indefinite integral using U substitution. So we're going to do this before every quiz. We're going to try to do it at the end of every lesson. Okay, I might say get out your learning logs and rate yourself and write your reflections, but today we're spending some time making sure we understand how to do this, okay? I'm giving you a sentence frame to start. Everybody from Algebra 1 all the way through Calculus BC, which is the highest class we teach, is doing this exact same thing, okay? Same sentence frames, all right? So this is not unique to you guys. I gave you some examples that are elementary school examples, okay? So let me tell you how this should look. You have 2 choices. Either you know it or you're confused about it, or you know enough about it that you're rating yourself like a 3, right? So I know I can integrate by an indefinite integral by U substitution, right? So this is what you're basically you're restating your I can statement here. Because I have to, and down here you explain what you have to do. So what are the steps to integrate or to you doing U substitution? How do you know you're successful at it? Okay, does that make sense? So I know I can integrate by U substitution because I have to, and I want you to explain the steps in your own words. Have to identify the inside function. That becomes U. And it might be a list of things, and it might be a big, long sentence. And that's okay. All right. Or I'm confused about U substitution because I still don't know how to identify the U. All right. So pinpoint where you think you're having your error. Where are you stopping in the process? Okay. So I'm going to give you a minute to write out your sentence right now. Okay, so everybody's writing, everybody's doing this because I am going to collect this and you're going to turn it in at the end of the unit. Yes. It's going in the grade book. Yes. We're still doing it. Okay, this is part of the process. Smile pretty. All right, everybody get their sentence done? Okay, we're going to do this first one where I'm going to give you time to do all of these here in class. Okay, so the next one. So go to the next slide, the one that says I can integrate inverse trigonometric function. Okay, that is this piece of the notes here. Okay, so this was the one that we did the arcsine, the arctangent, and the arcsecant. Okay, so rate yourself on what you know how to do on that. Again, you're being honest with yourself. The only person seeing this is you and me. Okay, so where are you at? And then I'll put the sentence frame back up there. It is always on this second slide if you need it, okay? So you're rating yourself, and then you're going to fill in the sentence frame. I know I can integrate inverse trig because I have to, and then explain in your own words what you have to do to integrate inverse trig. That was example, I think it was 7, 8, 9. Is that right? Something like that. So give you a minute to write your sentence. Everybody write a sentence. Okay. Give you about 10 more seconds on that one, then we're going to do the third one. There's 4 total that we're going to do today. Okay. Okay. The third one is on slide 5. I can integrate using U substitution with the change of variable method. Okay. So the change of variable method started on example 8. Okay, and was mostly just example 8. Okay, so write down, rate yourself. So change of variable methods, example 8. Rate yourself and write your sentence. Okay, so you're doing the change of variable one, the third I can't statement, rate yourself. Example 8 is the change of variable method.
Oh, the one plugging
About another minute to do that sentence. Okay, last one. Okay, was the I can, no, not that one. I can integrate a definite integral using U substitution. All right, so that one was examples, starting with example 9. Okay, and maybe this one you want to say something about changing the bounds, right? Because that was super important with definite integration. So example 9, 10, 11 were all the definite integration. Okay, so I'll put the sentence frames up there. Rate yourself and write your sentence. Okay, I'm going to give you a good minute and a half to finish up the learning log piece. Okay.